And the second time, it did the cryptid thing where I was really just about the only person who saw it, and it flew away. And people just have to trust that I saw it, right?
Welcome to Cardigan Chronicles, an original podcast from Herrick District Library in Holland, Michigan, featuring stories about life in the library, our community, and the world of books. We're your hosts. I'm Amanda, a youth services assistant.
And I'm Heather, teen librarian. Today for Cardigan Chronicles, we are talking about our summer challenge with Ottawa County Parks and the City of Holland Parks and Rec. We will also finish with our Book Bite segment, where today we'll be talking about books with questionable creatures.
All right, and so going right into what our summer theme is, it is The Truth is Out There. The line between fact and fiction can be fuzzy, so we're tapping into our curiosity. This summer, we're celebrating the joy of discovering what's real while playing with make-believe mythologies, sci-fi, and fantasy. Join us as we embark on a fun-filled journey of exploration, critical thinking, and the thrill of uncovering the truth one story at a time.
And this summer, we are also partnering with our local parks departments for our summer challenge. We are joined by Curtis from Ottawa County Parks and Brandy from City of Holland Parks and Recreation. Thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Before we learn a little bit more about our challenge, could you maybe tell us about what you do in each of your roles? Brandy, could you tell us about your job first?
Yeah, so my name is Brandy Herweyer, and I am the Recreation Program Assistant for the City of Holland. I have been in the city for right around 5 years, and a couple of the programs that I work with specifically include our Junior Adventure Day Camp, our dance programming, our cheer programming, and a lot of our special events. So that could be anywhere from our daddy-daughter dance to Holidays on the Farm, which is a new program for us at Van Raalte. But otherwise, I do a little bit of some tulip planting here and there, which I feel like is just part of working for the City of Holland, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I love my job, worked for the city, have a lot of pride here. So.
Sounds great. Thanks, Brandy. Curtis, could you tell us about you with Ottawa County?
Yeah, I'm a program supervisor with Ottawa County Parks. I work out of the Nature Center at Hemlock Crossing County Park, but of course we have over 40 properties that we manage in 7,500 acres. So I get out and about in the community all around the county to do programming, and that's my main job responsibility, is to help organize and run public programming. So I fall under community engagement, and that's what we're all about, trying to engage the community in our parks, recreationally in particular, but helping people to get out in nature in different ways and engage with what we have to offer in those parks. So I help design the newsletter, get that out there, and schedule these programs. So hopefully people can take advantage of them.
So what is your favorite thing to do at the parks that people might not know about?
So my favorite thing to do at one of the parks that people might not know about, so Holland Park specifically, throughout the summer months, we have what we call Yoga in the Park, which happens on Saturday mornings. Probably the most serene place you can be on a Saturday morning in Holland. You just are by the water and there's yoga and it's wonderful. Otherwise, on Friday evenings, we have our summer concert series. So Holland Park is just bustling down there. And then new this year, we're bringing our kids concert series back after a really long hiatus. So we're excited to bring that back. That'll be Wednesday afternoons once a month through the summer. So we're excited for that too. So Holland Park will just be really
like a hopping
bustling.
place.
Yeah, it definitely will be.
What about at Ottawa County Parks? What's your favorite, maybe unknown gem?
Unknown gem, boy. Well, one that a lot of people are starting to learn about is Ottawa Sands Park up in Ferrysburg. Pretty newly developed park. A little bit of a jaunt there from Holland, but not too bad and worth the drive if you want to check that out on our lakeshore. Some of the things that I enjoy doing in our parks, in particular, I've been labeled the bird guy. So I do a lot of bird programming and really enjoy doing that even on my own time. And Ottawa Sands tends to be a really good park. Of course, I've got bird walks down here in Holland and all over the county during the springtime. We do that again in the fall. And so we try to engage people with birds in the parks.
What's the bird you were most excited about seeing at one of those parks?
Oh, I must say There's two, and there's a real cryptid nature to these two birds. They're both warblers, and one of them is called the Connecticut warbler, and it's the crown jewel of warblers to find in spring or fall migration. They only come through here in migration, and you have to look up a picture online to see what they look like. But they're skulkers. They hide in the brush. They're real unusual. There's not very many of them, so if you run into one, it's often just singing in the brush. And I ran into that one at Crockery Creek on the Grand River in Crockery Township, not too far from Nunica, one time on a bird walk. So that was a real nice find. And the other is the Kirtland's warbler. And that's a crown jewel of warblers because it is an endangered species and breeds only in northern Michigan.
Oh.
And I've actually run into that one twice here in Ottawa County. And the second time it did the cryptid thing where I was really just about the only person who saw it, and it flew away. And people just have to trust that I saw it, right?
Well, I believe you, Curtis. I do wonder because I feel like as a birder, it feels like a game that's meant for you. Have you played Wingspan?
Yes.
Have you played it too?
Yes,
Randy?
yeah, yeah.
Amanda, have you played Wingspan?
I have not.
Oh.
I'll have to check it out from the library.
It's got a lot of. I've only played it once. It is a little bit more complex game, but there's also a lot of bird fun facts built in that I found particularly fun. So we heard about some things going on and some places you've been, but I'm going to ask a little bit of a mean question now because I'm going to, kind of like making you pick your children, but it's a park. Do you have a favorite park?
I feel like favorite parks definitely change with the season, right? Because every park has something different to offer. But I would say currently my favorite is Window on the Waterfront. There's just so much to see down there, and I know we just got done with tulips, and so now we're moving into planting some annual flowers down there, which is just going to be beautiful. But it's also the future home of the ice park. So
I'm very excited about that.
Super pumped about that. So it's definitely busy down there between that, and then we just put down some new sand volleyball courts down there too. So there's a lot to do down there, a lot to see, and it's a huge area that's definitely developing quite a bit.
And I feel like it's kind of tucked back there, and you don't always know that it's there, but that's awesome. I'm very pumped for the ice park.
Me too.
Yes.
So for me, I'm going to say the same thing. It depends on the season, really. But if I were to find a park that hits on all cylinders for all the different seasons, it's got to be Hemlock Crossing. That's where my office is, too. So sometimes I kind of get used to being there and think about going to all the other parks. And then all of a sudden I realize what a jewel I have right behind me at my office. Because we have cross-country skiing and snowshoeing during the winter time. We've got spring and fall migration. The birds are wonderful there, and also the frogs and other amphibian life. We've got the river, so you can kayak. Lots of trails for hiking during the spring and summer. So the colors also along the river in the fall are really nice. So it's really great any season you go out there. And it's nicely located right between Grand Haven and Holland. And a lot of people come head west from Grand Rapids area, too, to find their serenity at Hemlock Crossing.
And y'all have the observatory now, too, right?
Yes. We have an observatory there. And during the summer months, every Friday night that it's clear, the Shoreline Amateur Astronomical Association comes out and opens up the observatory to look at the stars. You can find information. If you Google them, you'll find their webpage, and they update when they're going to be running it on their webpage itself. And then also the first of each month, they'll be doing a program at the Nature Center. And if it's clear, then they also open up that Saturday night, too.
I became a Hemlock believer when we set up our Dino Story Walk out there. I was like, oh, the snow was lightly falling when we were planning. I was like, this is beautiful.
All right, pivoting into things happening this summer, what event are you most looking forward to this summer?
So for me, one event that I look forward to every summer is our Tulip City Kids Triathlon, and that happens right off of 16th and Fairbanks. So the kids get to do a couple laps at Bowes Pool, and then they hop on their bike, they go up and down Fairbanks, and then they finish with a couple laps over on the track that's hosted at Hope College. So, and just watching all of those kids complete the triathlon. They're so accomplished. It's just a whole morning of cheering kids on, and just them getting to cross the finish line and then getting ice cream. And it's probably like not even just the summer, like overall my favorite event to do. Yeah, it's just like you leave feeling like, oh my gosh, this was so much fun. Like, how does this even work? You know, like
Very joyful.
Yes, yeah.
Nice. For me, I've got to say the family campfire event is something that we're really looking forward to. It's something that I grew up doing. You know, you go camping, you have a campfire and whatever, and maybe it's not as accessible for all people. And we're going to set it up for you. So that's on July 25 from 7 to 9 at Pigeon Creek Park. And families are welcome to come. It's a free event. Lots of fun things to do, activities around the campfire, and of course s'mores and things like that, night hike. And you can find that information online. Also, our family nature days. Each month we have a day at a different park focused on families. And one of them, of course, June 28th, coming right up now, is Myths and Mysteries. So it has to do with the theme of this summer for the summer reading program at Herrick. And we're trying to attach that to that theme. It should be a lot of fun. Families will come out and have different activities that they can engage in at the park. It'll be at Hemlock Crossing that time.
And I'll just be out there hanging out with y'all with info about the library too.
That's right.
I'm very pumped to get to use work as an excuse to go hang out at Hemlock again. I don't know, when you were talking about fires, I had a vivid memory of being a child and having smoke follow you. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Did any of you have a phrase that you were supposed to say to get the smoke to leave?
I hate rabbits.
Yes. So ours was I hate white rabbits specifically. I don't know why, but I just wondered if that was something that followed, or if any of you had something. No,
I don't think so. No.
I don't think we
I
did
wonder where
either.
that came
I
from.
wonder too.
Yeah.
Well, I know you and I both have that North Carolina connection, so I wonder how many others have a I hate white rabbits. We'll have to do a poll.
Speaking of campfires, does anybody here like burned marshmallows? I was always made fun of when I was a kid because I would always burn my marshmallow, but I liked the burnt. Crispy outside, gooey inside.
Got to be slow toasted.
Golden brown.
Golden brown.
I-
and cooked through so that it's almost falling off of the fork.
100% Curtis.
I could go with a burned marshmallow though. Yeah, like, but I want to set it on fire, then like let it burn so that it is nice and melted
Yes,
still.
yes.
But like the crispy, crunchy outside, I'm here for it.
Yep, all the time. Got made fun of
Slow
so much.
toaster.
Just don't understand.
If it makes you feel any better, I got made fun of for how long it would take me to toast it. Because they'd be like, just stick it in the flame. And I'm like,
But
no.
at least ours were hot and melted on the middle, right?
Exactly.
If you burn it too quickly on the outside, it's still cold in the middle.
Yeah. Although I do a little bit wasteful, but I would like to just light one on fire, pull off the layer, light it on fire again. You know, just how many layers of marshmallow can you get? Let's go back to our summer events for a second. Have you ever come across something creepy in the woods? While you were working as a kid, just do you have any creepy forest encounters? Because you probably spend more time out there in the forest, in the woods, and the parks than the average person.
I would say the creepiest things are even the things that I know are there, but they jump out and say boo real close by to you when you don't expect it. So things like an eastern screech owl does this call like that. And if it starts doing that really close to me, suddenly out of nowhere, it'll make the hairs on my neck stand on end, even though I know what it is. Same thing with a whippoorwill. And we do a whippoorwill program early June. Sorry, we just passed it. But where we go in search of whippoorwills. And sometimes you'll hear them calling way off in the distance. And then all of a sudden they'll go quiet, and then where are they? And suddenly they're right behind you, or they come swoop over your head because maybe you've played a little call to try to get them to come a little closer, and they'll swoop right over your head and just make your heart stop. So those are fun encounters, though. We know there's nothing dangerous about them, but they still kind of spook you out a little bit.
Yeah.
I would say I'm a fan of being outside when it's daylight, but as soon as that sun goes down, I'm out of there, whether it's a bat or a snake or a frog. Count me out. But anything that happens during the daytime, love it. But otherwise, yeah, the little creepy crawly creatures, not for me.
As someone who has been attacked by a bat before, I fully support you. In fact, in Holland, had to get rabies shots. It was super fun.
Oh,
So, yes, I support that. Nothing that slithers, crawls, flies at you. It's not for me.
Yep.
Do either of you have a favorite cryptid?
So I kind of had to reflect back to my childhood a little bit with this one. But I come from a really small town, a little bit south of here near South Haven, and there's a small inland lake that we used to swim at as a child. And I think it was that lake that made me begin to believe that like the Loch Ness monster could be anywhere if it's like foggy enough. And I grew up believing like on those foggier, like rainier days in the summer that if I looked close enough, the Loch Ness monster would just like be in this really random Michigan inland lake, which of course it wasn't. But I think that's probably where I would say it's my favorite cryptid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've always liked to think Nessie is a friendly Loch Ness monster.
Yes. Yeah.
well, I would probably say it's got to be Bigfoot. I like to hike a lot and travel a lot, and just the idea that there's this humanoid, hairy creature out there. One of my favorite movies growing up was Harry and the Hendersons too. That I think helped me in my view of what Bigfoot could be. It's actually kind of a funny movie. But I've also been to the West Coast, to the heart of Bigfoot country out there, and seen the Bigfoot Museum and stuff like that. I just think
There's
the
a
lore.
Bigfoot museum?
There is Willow
Oh.
Creek, California.
Oh.
And
okay.
unfortunately, it wasn't open when I was there
Oh.
visiting, but they had this Bigfoot statue out front that we got pictures taken with.
How tall did they make Bigfoot?
They made Bigfoot in that statue, must have been 15 feet tall. So I think it was a little overdone. But according to Harry and the Hendersons movie, it wasn't that big. So, if they used real Bigfoot in that movie, then it couldn't have been,
Yeah. Well, we were doing our cryptid crawl with one with City of Holland and one with Ottawa County, and I can go ahead and tell you our Bigfoot is only 6 feet tall. So maybe a little closer to the movie reference.
Yep. But just the idea that mystery continues and people really get into searching for Bigfoot and looking for signs of Bigfoot, and then the little photographs here and there, and there's always this element of, well, can you be 100% sure it's not there? No, there's a chance. A lot of people kind of buy into that, and it adds to the lore of just being outside and going for a hike in the wilderness.
Kind of reminds me of Xenophilius Lovegood from Harry Potter when he's arguing with Hermione about whether certain things exist or not. And Hermione's just adamant that, no, this isn't real. And he's just like, prove that it isn't. And she's just like, what am I supposed to say to that?
And I think that's what helps Bigfoot live on. Prove that it isn't.
Do you have a favorite one, Amanda?
I don't know. I was thinking about that while they were talking. I have a favorite one that you designed for the geocaching we're
Yeah?
doing. It's the little jackalope who's roasting a marshmallow.
The jackalope is my favorite cryptid too. I think that's probably why I had the most fun making that one. So for those that don't know, a jackalope is a hare with elk antlers, or just antlers in general. And it's actually not that old of a cryptid. And the people who invented this cryptid, we found out from our public services librarian for another layer of fun, was actually started by the Herrick brothers out in Wyoming. So we need to see if they have any relation to our Herricks here in Holland or not. But it's just like the jackalope. It was meant to be.
I remember running into that one when I did my trip when I was about 6 years old to South Dakota. Through South Dakota, Waldrug, that area,
Yeah.
it's big out there. And I remember seeing my first pronghorn antelope, which is what it's based off of,
Yeah.
the pronghorn horns. So, but I looked at that, and you got to be kidding me. But there was, as a young child, I was like, Maybe.
Yo. I found out about it when I was teaching out in Idaho, and some of my students were like, "It's a jackalope." And I said, "Oh, what?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's real." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know about this." And yeah, it was just hysterical because my 10-year-olds definitely did believe it was a real animal.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been talking about the cryptids quite a bit, and that's because of our summer initiative again, which is The Truth is Out There. And we were lucky enough to get to design our summer challenge with y'all this year. And our summer challenge, we're kicking off on June 9th. So if you're listening to this now, it's already started. June 9th, we had nature journals that you could come and get. And then we also have the reading charts that you can pick up at the library. You'll be able to also find them at some of the park locations and at some events that City of Holland will be hosting. But if you definitely want to get one, you can pick it up at the library. And our summer challenge this year, there's basically 2 ways that you can play. You can either read books and just record them and rank how well you liked reading the book, or you can do our trail map where we have boxes that you can fill in, and you get to set your goal for those boxes. So you can have it be, if you finish a book, you check off a box. If you read for 20 minutes, you check off a box. You read a certain number of pages, check off a box. It's really up to you to set the goal to make it as difficult or as easy as you would like. But then along with reading, we have different activities that you can also complete to check boxes off. Brandy, do you want to tell us about some of the activities you can do with City of Holland to check off boxes?
Sure, absolutely. So one of the activities that we have is a walk along the Hines Waterfront Walkway, and you can watch the boats launch over at Holland Park. Like I said a little bit earlier, we've got concerts going on there. There's things in the daytime, things in the evening. So there's a lot of things to do there, as well as watch the boats launch. You could also take a stroll through Van Rolte Farm and see the barns, the house, the sugar shack. We also have a sledding hill, which obviously isn't in operation right now, but you could still go climb the hill and roll down it or whatever that might be. And then there's also a dog park on the other side too. So
I bet you get a lot of speed going down that hill.
oh, I'm sure it's a big hill. So if you're like one of those kiddos that really likes to just roll, like log roll down, oh, I'm sure that would be a blast. And then you could also check out the progress of the new Holland Ice Park or explore the prairie meadows at Window on the Waterfront. So if you're one of those people who really likes to watch all the construction equipment working or just see the progress and check in with the ice park, that'd be a really cool place to go. Otherwise, we also just did all of the pickleball and tennis courts over at Moran Park, and that playground also is new within the last 2 years. So seeing all of that, there's also a futsal court over there. So that park is always bustling on the really nice summer days. So that would be a good spot to stop as well.
And if you haven't played pickleball before and you're wondering if you want to invest in equipment, we do have in our library things, a bunch of pickleball equipment that we have there that people can check out and go over to your pickleball courts and try it out to see if they like it.
Yeah.
So those are some of the City of Holland. What do we have going on with Ottawa County, Curtis?
For the Ottawa County Parks, we have highlighted some of the Holland area parks to visit as a part of this summer reading challenge. One of them is Paw Paw Park, and there's a couple things you can do. If you want to check out some disc golf equipment here from the library, you can do that and then go play some disc golf at the course there at Paw Paw East. If you don't feel like doing that and just want to go for a walk there, you can go and count the dragonflies because there's lots of little ponds there, and it tends to be one of the better places to observe dragonflies. A lot of fun. Also, Riley Trails on the north side of Lake Makatawa there off Riley Street. You can go for a bike ride. They allow bike riding, mountain biking on the trails there. Or if you want to just go for a walk, we joke around about just getting yourself lost in the woods, right? There's a lot of trails there, so you just got to watch the map and where you are. But get lost in the woods. I say that in air quotes. Don't really get lost in the woods, but
it's also a good place if you want to pretend like you're in the forest of Andor. Some of the trees back there look like you are in Star Wars.
Yes, there you go. You can get far enough back in there that you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. Yes, and definitely pretend like you're in a different place, not on this earth. Also, at Hemlock Crossing, you can explore the Nature Center, and in the Nature Center, there's a book nook. You can sit down in the book nook. There's a little tent in there and some pillows that can be built into a little fire where you can roast your little fake marshmallows over it and read a book. And there's chairs for the adults, and the kids love getting into the tent and hanging out there to read a book. And then finally at Tunnel Park, one of the quintessential summer activities is to go to the beach. So if you find yourself at Tunnel Park, you can climb up the sand dune and run down it. I don't recommend rolling down it, although some kids do. Van Ralton Farm, the hill might be a little better. You don't get sand all in your clothing, but run down the sand dune there or just play in the sand. So those are some ways to enjoy Ottawa County Parks in the Holland area this summer and get to check off some boxes on your trail map.
Yeah. And then we also have one that I think is a nice combination of the parks and the library, as we're doing geocaching too with our cryptids. So we have 2 locations for each place. So there is a geocache at the main library, a geocache at the North Branch. We've got a geocache at Van Ralty Farms. We've got a geocache at Window on the Waterfront, one at Riley Trails, and one at Hemlock Crossings. And each one has a different little prize you can pick up, and you can choose if you want to go hardcore with your geocaching and just use the GPS coordinates, or we have written out some clues if you're looking for either a little help or it's your first time geocaching and you want to go on a treasure hunt. That's another, each geocache will also let you check off a box as a part of the trail map. So I'm really looking forward to our summer collaboration, and I'm excited to see what people choose to do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We are too.
All right, and then we're going to round out the summer with our end of summer reading celebration on August 9th at the main library, and it is a Summerween celebration. So we're going to transform the library into a Halloween, spooky, haunted space for you to come and play games, get treats, and we encourage you to dress up in costume. So whether you want to put a summer spin on a traditional Halloween costume like a ghost, or dress up as your favorite cryptid, or whatever kind of costume you want to wear.
And spoiler alert, we will have Bigfoot here for a photo session, though he will be in a private room because he is shy. So thanks for joining us, Brandy and Curtis. Do you have anything else you want to tell us about the parks before you leave us today?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to collaborate with you on this project for this summer, and really looking forward to having more people come to our parks for the summer reading program. And we'll have stuff at Hemlock Crossing, so you can pick up the trail map there as well. And maybe some of our parks visitors will come and engage with the library as well.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward for excuses to go to parks during works.
All right.
Can't wait.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for having us on the podcast, and we're excited for the summer.
Welcome back to Book Bites. This week we're going to be talking about questionable creatures. Amanda, can you tell us what book you have with questionable creatures?
Yes, so today I'm talking about Dear Mothman by Robin Gow, which is a middle grade novel in verse. For those of you that don't know, middle grade is books written for kids 8 to 12-ish, that in-between age. So Dear Mothman follows Noah, who is in 6th grade, and his best friend just died unexpectedly in a car accident. Was the only person who Noah felt like understood him. So in order to cope with his grief, he starts writing letters to Mothman because him and his best friend, Lewis, were really interested in hunting for Mothman. So he decides for his school science project that he's going to prove that Mothman exists. So it's a book about him coping with his grief, meeting new friends through his search for Mothman. And it's just a really lovely story about finding yourself. I would relate it to Too Bright to See by Kyle Lukoff. It has that identity aspect and that paranormal, supernatural aspect to it because Dear Mothman will have you thinking, is Mothman really real?
It's for you to decide.
It is. What about you, Heather? What's your book for today?
So my book is a teen book called Compass and Blade by Rachel Greenlaw, and it's the first book in a trilogy. And it follows Mira, who has recently taken over her mother's position as a part of like this line and this rope that swims out to wrecked ships, and then they scavenge the ships and take things from it, so as their like whole way of life. But what you quickly find out is they are the ones causing the ships to wreck to begin with. So they're wreckers, and they get caught. And Mira has a week to try and save her father, who has been taken away as being a part of this wrecking crew. And it's really sort of a fantasy, piratey adventure that also mixes in elements of fantasy with sirens and witches and things. And you don't get super into the sirens and witches in the first book, but you know that they're there and you learn more about them as you go along. And I would liken it to being like a less gritty version of Fable by Adrian Young. And it's a pretty enjoyable book. There are times where you may be a little bit frustrated with Mira and want to shake her, but well, that's just life. Sometimes you want to shake someone and go, "What were you thinking?" But I am getting ready to read the second book, Shadow and Tide, and the third one that I did not know existed until today has not yet been titled, because I like standalone books, but that's okay. I will read the trilogy. I would just like to encourage everyone to visit one of our local parks this summer, or just parks in general. They're a great place to be. There's going to be a lot of fun programs there. We'll also have several fun programs here at the library. And again, all library programs are free. It's one of the biggest perks. So we encourage you to question and know that the truth is out there this summer.